You know that feeling when you scroll through a dozen listings for a high-volume folder and inserter, all of them promising lightning-fast speeds and intuitive touchscreens, only to end up with a machine that jams on the first batch of invoices or makes you spend more time untangling paper than actually mailing it? I've been there, and that hesitation is exactly why I'm breaking down the Formax FD6104 before you hit Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through what the machine actually does in a real office, who will get their money's worth, and who should probably keep looking. First off, let's talk about the environment this kind of equipment lives in. A typical small to mid-size business that sends out statements, promotional flyers, or customer notices will often have a dedicated mailing station, but it's rarely a fully automated system. Most of the time you're dealing with a stack of printed sheets, a few different envelope sizes, and the occasional typo that forces a rerun. The Formax FD6104 is built around a top-loading, clamshell design that lets you slide a stack of folded documents onto a feeder, then line up the envelopes beneath. In practice, the setup is straightforward enough that a single person can get it running in under 10 minutes, even if they're not a tech wizard. The adjustable side guides are a nice touch for handling 5-inch envelopes, and the color touchscreen walks you through each step with visual cues that actually match the physical layout of the machine. Now, speed is the headline that most buyers chase. The FD6104 claims up to 1,350 filled envelopes per hour, which sounds impressive on paper. In a real-world scenario, say you're processing a daily batch of 300 invoices, the machine will comfortably finish before lunch, leaving a cushion for a second run if needed. The real advantage isn't the raw number, it's the consistency. The electromechanical sensors that detect document thickness and envelope presence are designed to ignore smudges and variations in paper color, which means you're less likely to see a paper jam warning just because a logo ink ran over the edge of a sheet. That reliability translates into less downtime and fewer frantic calls to the vendor for tech support. What about flexibility? The FD6104 lets you store up to 15 programmable jobs, which is essentially a memory bank for different mailing runs. Think weekly newsletter, monthly billing, or seasonal coupon drop. In the office I observed, the operator would set up a job for the newsletter, hit a single button, and the machine would automatically adjust the folding sequence, envelope selection, and insertion timing. The catch tray at the bottom collects finished envelopes, so you can pull a stack and seal them without having to stop the machine. The trade-off here is that you have to spend a little time initially programming each job, but once it's done you get a repeatable process that eliminates the guesswork each morning. Who should consider buying this unit? If you're running a dedicated mailing operation that pushes out several hundred to a few thousand pieces per day, the Formax FD6104 offers a sweet spot between manual labor and full-scale industrial equipment. It's especially valuable for businesses that need to switch between a handful of envelope sizes or document formats without retooling the entire line. Companies in real estate, utility billing, or direct mail marketing often find that the ability to store multiple jobs cuts down on training time for seasonal staff. On the flip side, if your volume sits under a few hundred pieces per week, the upfront cost and the floor space required, roughly a small printer's footprint, may not justify the automation. Likewise, very large operations that push 10,000 envelopes a day will quickly outgrow the 1,350 per hour ceiling and should look at higher throughput models that can handle continuous feeds. Let's be honest about the downsides. The machine's top-loading feeder works well with clean, uniformly sized stacks, but it can be finicky with mixed paper batches or sheets that have heavy carbon copies. You'll notice a slight slowdown if the feeder has to compensate for thicker cards, and in a few cases the operator will need to pause and manually realign the stack. The touchscreen, while colorful, isn't immune to the occasional freeze if you accidentally press a menu button while the machine is mid-cycle. It's not a critical failure, just a momentary pause that requires a quick reset. Also, the Resettable counter that tracks how many envelopes have been processed is handy for keeping tabs on usage, but you'll need to reset it manually at the end of each job. There's no automatic logging to a computer, so you won't get a detailed usage report without an extra step. From a value perspective, the Formax FD6104 earns its price by delivering what most small business owners actually need: dependable speed, enough programmability to avoid repetitive setup, and a user interface that doesn't feel like a relic. The hidden value shows up in the reduction of labor hours. In the office I visited, the team went from a 2-person, half-hour manual insertion process to a single